Okay, so we're super excited to talk about the upcoming 3D Design and Motion Tour. It's being hosted by a whole slew of fantastic people. We've got Maxon, Dell, Adobe, and NVIDIA. And it's going to be just 26 different cities all across the globe. So joining us today to talk a little bit about it are our good friends EJ Hassenfratz, Chris Schmidt, and Mathias Omotola. You can't see him right now. We'll be switching him on and off.
Yeah, you'll see him later.
I'm invisible. You can't see me.
So one thing that's super cool about this, and I'm really excited about it, I mean, other than the fact that it's 26 different cities, like you get the chance, no matter where you're at, to be able to see, either Chris or EJ or Mathias and all these people who, me personally, I've grown to love and enjoy, kind of speak about their process and stuff like that. Chris, you're going to be doing, 10 cities, I think it was?
Yeah, 10 cities total.
Wow. And EJ, how many were you doing again?
Doing 12.
Wow.
He's a trooper.
Doing way more than Chris.
Way more.
Overachiever.
Yeah. So, and, it's not just US, it's also, European, Canadian. It's going to be all over the place. So, Mathias, is there anything that you'd like to say before I get into costs and stuff like that?
For sure. Before we dive in, one of the big things is a lot of people reach out and it's I can't make it to NAB and SIGGRAPH. And you guys all know, because you've been part of that production, what it's like to be in that artistic energy and that flow. So working with FMC, Dell, Adobe, and all of our partners, NVIDIA, working with all of our partners to really bring that feel and that interaction where people can get it. So all throughout the US, I think most people are at least at most a 2-hour flight from any one of those cities. So everything is kind of reasonable. The value that they're getting from actually attending is more than that in which you get from just about any other ticket on the planet. So really wanted to just be able to bring kind of the 3D for the real world has been our tagline, 3D for the whole world. So it makes it accessible for everybody. And, my plan is to just kind of keep this going, but maybe not doing 26 cities all at once, but, kind of spacing it out and, kind of really build this community. Because I know with Mograph and everything that you guys have been building is really the community, and it's all about that. So trying to actually get people to come out, mingle, network, and have a really inspiring, educational experience that leaves them better off than where they were before, artistically, creatively, and connected.
And this is not just a Cinema 4D only type thing. This is for people in all areas of motion design. This is After Effects and
totally.
And, it's more of a broad spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, Cinema 4D is the core 3D application, but you can take this and you can apply it to any, you can apply it to any workflow. We actually worked with Perception the folks behind, the Marvel opening logos and Black Panther, end credits, so many amazing things. So Cinema 4D is the core of the workflow, but if you've never opened Cinema, we've designed it so you'd be able to follow along in the creative process, working with the tools. There's something for designers in there. There's something for packaging design. And then in a lot of the cities, we're going to have a round table with a collection of artists. Some might be cinema, some might be Photoshop. So finding the best artists to bring onto that panel locally to just be able to, talk about the community and what it's like as a professional in the industry.
Yeah, so you get to meet some of the more local artists of those specific cities as well, correct?
Yeah, as many as we can get out for there. Because some people are, kind of booked, but yeah, we got some really nice panels.
Chris, do you guys know what y'all are going to be talking over yet?
Yeah.
Well, I think a big part of the focus is going to be, we're trying to get a little bit of uniformity between all of the different cities so people can have a similar experience, like Mathias was saying, bringing SIGGRAPH or NAB to all the people in all different cities. So I think a lot of it is going to be a really big production that Perception put together, and we're going to be breaking down different sections of that project, really kind of doing an introduction of a bunch of different parts of cinema, all over Cinema 4D, and really breaking that down and getting a taste of everything, but nothing too overwhelming.
That's super awesome.
And I think one of the coolest things on top of that is each city has their own local flavor and special guests that are coming along. So for Denver, for example, which is that's my home base, we have the one and only Beeple coming into town, which I'm super excited about having him come here and meet all the industry folks down here. So in addition to like the majority of the day, we're covering a lot of Cinema 4D and After Effects and Premiere and stuff like that. At the end, from what I understand, we're doing this cool little Q&A deal where the presenters from each city, they'll be different depending on what city you're in. They'll do a little presentation and a little Q&A roundtable. So that's really cool as well, that, you know, not only are you getting this really cool SIGGRAPH NEB experience, but you're also having this time to, you know, ask questions and get that intimate, you know, back and forth with some of really top creatives in the industry right now.
And, you know, I will say, if you're going to the Denver one and you get to see people, make sure and ask him for prints, because he almost always carries prints with him. He just sometimes forgets to hand them out. Just tell him Matt said, Matt said you've got some prints.
Yeah, I need my Beeple autograph. I missed SIGGRAPH there.
Oh, yeah, it was so much fun.
And the thing that I really liked about when we did Colorado C4D is that when we did the panel thing, like, it was so much fun talking to people. About everything, you know, everything in the industry. And so Matt and I are going to be coming down to the Austin one. That's the very first one. We're going to come be on the panel. Who else is going to be on the panel?
Penelope will be there, so she's on board. Brian Beam will be there, and Barton Damer will actually be joining us as well. So that's
going to be a killer panel.
Yeah. So it's great because
not just because I'm on it.
Yeah, and then EJ will be there as well, and then I'll be asking you guys some very uncomfortable questions throughout the afternoon.
Fantastic.
So
we've got a little mini. It's not on the tour, but we've got a mini Dallas beer meetup that we're going to do the day after. The day after that, so EJ is going to be road tripping us with us back up to Dallas, I believe, and we're going to work out the details of that. We'll send out a mailer for that and everything so people can see all the dates and times.
Yeah, so, I was going to say, this is something that is, you know, very much like our community, and that's one of the things when I was looking at, you know, putting together as many of the cities that I did, was I had already an entire fall of activities and events and user groups, and I try and work with everybody locally. So if you participate in this event, you're still connecting with that community. So that was one of the things I know we've been talking about, is like, okay, what day are you guys doing, you know, your Dallas meetup? So if people are hanging out, they get more time to actually connect. So if you check out, you know, 3dmotiontour.com and you check out, Maxon.net, you'll see like the overlap of, there's all these little cities in between. There's already events we're sponsoring, but we also have a stop nearby because, you know, double up. And that's kind of like SIGGRAPH and NAB. It's usually multi-day, but we just have one event here, and then you can jump to your other event or your community user group or hang out with friends. So it's definitely encouraged. Like Blend, we're the day after Blend. So if you're going to Blend, you know, extend your stay, enjoy the road show, and then, you know, fly out on Monday. So we were just trying to give people the opportunity to extend that stay, because there's so few things that we as artists can do. I mean, I consider myself very lucky because I get to see you guys pretty consistently. I'm like, you know, one time a year, you know, 2-3 times a year. But for a lot of people, they're really looking forward to just that one event. So I'm trying to create the opportunity within this to extend that, you know, so you can have more time with our community.
And I think it's the same you were talking about with Blend. I'm pretty sure it's the same with Half Res. Isn't that right, Chris?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It was a long time ago that you started the bare bones planning of this, and you were asking when Half Res was. So, yeah, if you come to the Chicago event here, then Half Res is only 4 days later. So a cool opportunity to come and hang out in Chicago. And we've got our own little mini conference. That's one night, a big giant party and lots of presentations. So you just head over to halfres.com if you want to pick up a ticket for that as well.
Yeah, and it's totally different content and format too. So I've been doing Half Res. This is like, unfortunately, the first year that I'm not there in my hometown.
Yeah, 8 years, and you're finally missing one.
Oh wow, is it 8?
This is number 8. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So my hometown, Chicago, and every year it's amazing and a little bit different. So, you know, the roadshow, it's quite consistent, but each of these different events, and like Half Res is something you're not going to want to miss. If you can stay for that, I would say make that your week. Go to Half Res, and then definitely go over to the roadshow. Just make it a week.
Exactly.
So, and this is something that I really want to talk about is that, it's a really great opportunity. While yes, you're seeing that we're all, Cinema 4D people, I really want to stress the importance that this is really an opportunity for motion designers who are also on the fence about C4D, getting a chance to kind of experience this. If you're a producer or, an After Effects person and you're really interested about it, this is a fantastic opportunity to, one, get to know some of the people within this industry and get to know a little bit more about the software. And a big bonus that that they're offering is, so the ticket price for this is $95, which is an absolute steal when you see what comes with it. Included in that $95 is not only the chance in order to, talk with and meet and hear from all your favorite artists, but it also comes with a 90-day license of Cinema 4D, a 30-day license of Adobe Creative Cloud, a 90-day license of Redshift, a 90-day license of Sketchfab, a $100 Kit Bash coupon, 90 days for LinkedIn Learning, project files and resources, and they're going to be doing drawings at the event as well. Like, it is an absolutely killer deal.
That's an ultimate,
even if you're just wanting
starter pack right there.
Yeah, seriously. If you're like, okay, I think I want to get into this, like, this is the perfect opportunity, because it's like, okay, at no time are you going to find a deal this inexpensive, to jump in.
Yeah.
And
there's nothing like this on the planet. And I worked really hard, and Paul's worked hard, and we've all worked hard with our partners to say, look, there's a lot of creatives out there. And a lot of people have been, the barrier to entry is cash. Like, that's usually the big barrier to entry. It was like, cinema used to cost so much. We just went subscription, having a subscription option, and Adobe Creative Cloud and Kit Bash is like, there's so many different things that people have been trying to get their hands on, they're inspired by, but it's like, oh, the barrier to entry, this is going to cost me this is going to cost me that, and now it's like $95, take everything for the next 90 days between now and the end of the year, start your creative journey. Like, dive in if you haven't used 3D. This is, like, for me, I think of like all the After Effects people who've been seeing it for years and, playing with, different tools. They're like, oh yeah, I'm cheating 3D. I'm trying things out, but, oh, it's just too complex. Like, we're going to make it fun, accessible. You're going to be able to ask all the questions that matter to you in your creative workflow. And that's kind of the big thing, is like, you can chat online, but until you actually see somebody doing it and the interactivity and the fun process of it, if you ever watched, any one of your guys' tutorials, you can see the process is a lot more creative and fun than it is just a grind.
Yeah, not only the 2D people, but when we do DFW C4D, we get a lot of producers that come out to just learn more in general and be a little bit more knowledgeable about the things they may be producing, and meeting and networking with people. So as a motion designer, you come into these meetups and you might meet people from production companies and other places that are looking to hire you locally as well. So it's a very good networking aspect.
Yeah, that's a huge one. I can tell you from going to events is really good as an artist and networking, because one of the things that often will happen is someone after the show is saying, hey, I'm looking for this type of specialist or that type of specialist. And I'll usually just go up to the stage and say, hey, somebody's looking for a character animator, or somebody's looking for a specialist who does, VFX or simulations. And then all of a sudden people will raise their hand, they're connected, and they're just doing business. So this isn't just about a passive activity. We have that Q&A time for you to actually advance your career, make the connections within your community. And that's, kind of the whole Mograph world of motion graphics. It doesn't matter your skill set. At one point in time, we're usually hiring each other. That's one thing that works. So you want to build that network.
I mean, that all of us right here, I wouldn't know you if I didn't go to my first NAB. That was such a career-changing event that Mathias actually invited me to. Before he even knew me, he invited me out. So always say yes to these kind of things. Every time I have a meetup here in Denver, and before NAB, I was like, who's going? And like one hand went. And I was like, oh my God, it's like, you guys need to go. It's free. You don't need a ticket. Just get your butt to Vegas. And I actually convinced like 5 or 6 different people to go. And after NAB was done, they came up to me and was like, EJ, thank you so much for telling me to go. Like, that was so amazing. And so, I mean, these could be potentially life-changing events, depending on who you meet. You could, like, you meet your friends, like, all you guys here are, really good friends now. And, that would not happen if it wasn't for the fact that, I saw you all at NAB and you guys came out to NAB and all that good stuff. So, I mean, we know a lot of people through Slack and Twitter, and it's just weird internet people until you actually meet the people in person. And then you're just like, hey, we're just normal friends.
And they're weird normal people. Weird actual people.
It's that secret part that you don't get to do too much in school, except for your fellow students, is actually going out and shaking hands. You can do all the work. You have the nicest portfolio in the world, but if you don't talk to that person who's then going to look at your portfolio, it doesn't do any good. And I've always been shocked through user groups or NAB or SIGGRAPH or half-res, anything, how many people, like, I find out a couple years later, it's like, oh yeah, I went to half-res and I was just an intern and then I got a full-time job at this studio, and then somebody jumps to being freelance because of connections they made, and somebody else moves into that studio. New studios are formed. It's just insane how those things like shift around and people find new gigs and new connections.
Yeah, like SIGGRAPH, for example, you can go there, or SIGGRAPH, NAB, some of those big shows, you can advance your career like a year within a week, by the amount of networking that you're doing. So going to these meetups is just, it could be like a really big break.
Even as a freelancer that works from home like myself, like when I went to NAB and just seeing all the different artists' workflows, like that's the biggest eye opener to me. Is not like, here's this brand new feature. It's like, holy crap, you do that thing every day and I haven't been doing that, and that I could have been saving all this time and energy if I would have known that workflow. So you're so isolated as a freelancer working from home. Sometimes that's the only chance you can get to be around like-minded artists and see what they're up to, see what their workflows are. Because some of these people are working at major studios that, like, they got their workflow down to a freaking science. So that's one of the biggest eye-opening things, is just being around those people and just seeing how they work. And you're like, oh, that's a shortcut thing? That I could have been using that shortcut key for this entire time. Like, my life is
I didn't know about Control-C.
Control-Z. I just learned layers the other day, guys.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I always recommend to people is, like, if you're not networking, you're not working. Like that's a big component of being a professional. It's who you know. I've reached out. I mean, you guys all know because I've literally connected with you, and vice versa. And we've all worked together because we've actively met somebody in person. Usually it's like, sometimes we'll reach out to people online, but once you meet someone in person and they can have that dialogue with you professionally, they get a feel of what it's like to work with you. And that changes everything. Then you can work around the world, but you have that, real connection. And that's a game changer. Absolutely. So I strongly recommend that, even just for the practice of it, especially as artists. I know that's somewhat of a more introverted type space, but this is one of the places that you can relax, and it's not competitive. It's literally everybody. If you come to one of the events, or at least anyone that I've participated in and supported and endorsed, it's not the diva mentality. It's not like, okay, this person is too cool to talk to. This person is, unaccessible. I mean, we've had Andrew Kramer out to events. He's actually going to be at a couple stops on the show. And, surprisingly, having conversations with people that, I've idolized for years. And it's like, oh, wow, they're actually accessible. They're actually talking about technique, and you feel better. And you feel better because of it. You don't feel so alone and isolated. It's like a lot of people are fighting the same challenges, but getting out there and creating that connection gives you opportunities. So that's what this whole show is about, is getting you access to the tools, the technology, the processes, and most importantly, the people behind it all. So you come talk to me. If you have a skill or a talent, come talk to me. You want to present, come talk to me. I work with cinema, but guess what? I get people asking me, do you know anybody to, work at the Adobe booth? Do you know anybody who could, show up at all the different booths from Wacom to you name it, NVIDIA? People are looking for quality other artists to show up and be able to share what they know with the world. And if I have that connection, I know who you are, I know where you live, that just gives me a pathway to say, oh yeah, that person, they're totally cool. Kim, she's awesome, or whoever, I can just make that recommendation, but I have to meet you. That's the whole thing. The only thing is I have to meet you. I can't do it, just finding everybody.
Yeah.
So the website is 3dmotiontour.com. It's the 3D Design and Motion Tour. And it's going to be so much fun. In a city near you.
It's coming to a city near you.
Yeah, so go to 3dmotiontour.com. You can register now to get your tickets for the event. The tickets are $95, but they come with so much included. So much value included.
And the seating is limited too. That's another big thing too. If they sell out, I cannot get more. So like the value of the ticket by itself, I say if it sells out, just buy a flight somewhere and go to that other city. Like seriously, because we can't make more. The venues were hard enough to lock in. So like I would say just buy your ticket immediately and then work out the other details from there. Because once it's gone, it's gone. And it's not like, oh, you didn't get it. Well, you can still get all that software for $95. It's for attendees only. So don't think you can just buy a ticket and like, oh, I'm just going to get all stuff. I don't even need to go. It's literally attendees only because it's an engagement thing, and that's how I was able to work with everybody to actually get the licenses because they want the engagement, they want real connection. Otherwise, it's not valuable because they could just do this online. It's like they want to see people using the tools, and having that professional experience.
Absolutely.
All right.
So first stop is Austin, Texas, September 4th with EJ Hassenfratz. And a bunch of other excellent people. Chris, do you know when your first one is?
My first one's going to be in Antwerp in Belgium. I think the 27th, if I am correct.
Fantastic.
He kicks off the European leg.
No, you're in Chicago, right?
Oh, actually, that's true. I'll be hanging out a little bit in the Chicago one before Half-Res. So that's more just popping in.
No, they're bringing EJ
where you're
up
going
there
to,
just for
Chris?
that.
I'm just so excited about the European part. Like, what can I say?
Right.
And I'll actually get to close out a couple of the cities in the U.S. as well, which I'm excited for. It'll be my first time in Florida ever, which is crazy.
There you go.
Yeah,
for Chicago,
it's no Antwerp,
snowboard?
but sure, yeah.
Stop by Disney World while you're there.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people to visit down there.
Yeah.
Well, I just gotta say, especially this release with the subscription model. It's going to be so much fun to meet all these people and get everyone onto the C4D train because it's so much more accessible.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm most excited to do now. Is like that barrier, that financial barrier is gone, and all these people that might have been restricted from getting Cinema 4D just by the sheer cost of it. Like now it's available to them and now they can go and see what it can do. And that's what I'm most excited about is getting all these new people into the community and just sharing like our love of this piece of software that, we make a living off of. So it's, that's going to be really, really great.
Yeah. And the big thing is like, you don't have to invest anything else. Like you literally come here, that one investment has you covered for 3 months,
right?
And you can just dive in. And this is stuff that it's taken people years. They're saving up, watching tutorials from Chris, watching EJ, like watching it and like, oh man, I want to be able to do that one day. Or I'm running
waiting
a demo
until Black Friday for those sales.
Just waiting strategically. Maybe if I could put half on a credit card here and a quarter on this one, like so all that's gone. Just included in your ticket, you're getting everything that you need, and then you can dive in. And the cool thing is all the resources that are going to be shown. So that entire project that Perception put together, that's going to be available to people as well. So you're getting some, grade A assets to be able to play with, recreate, and do different things with. So
man, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They're giving the project files.
Yeah. I mean, that's worth it to me alone. Just being able to pick around, someone else's project files. That's insane. That's so great.
Yeah, I love doing that. Reverse engineering is my favorite way to learn personally, just picking around through it. So
that's the professor, folks. Chris Schmidt, the professor.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay. Well, make sure and check out 3dmotiontour.com for any information, and hopefully we will see everyone at a city near you.
Yeah. If you're in the U.S., you're probably going to see me. So I think I'm going to just about every city. So from Camp Mograph to New York to Half-Res, so I'm going to be in there, one of them. So definitely, if you guys are coming out for Half-Res, come out early, see me. We'll have some pizza beforehand, and then you're going to have to just tell me how good it was, because it make me jealous, and so I can miss that. And then I'll see you guys soon.
All right,
awesome.
We appreciate y'all coming on to talk about it a little bit, and we'll see everybody soon.
Thanks for having us on.
Bye.
See you in Austin, September 4th.
See you in all the places.
All the places.
All right, talk to you later. Mograph.com, an online resource for motion graphic artists. Start your week with the Mograph Podcast. Industry news, interviews with your favorite artists, and terrible humor. Watch live shows and interviews from Mograph events like NAB, SIGGRAPH, Half-Res, and local meetups. Our Mograph Talks feature live demos and motivation from artists all around the world.
Sometimes you gotta make stuff that you're not gonna put on your reel, and I'm not here to judge.
What if Rick and Morty show up for the countdown at midnight? That's where I peaked in life, in my career.
We gotta stop this thing, Rick! It's gonna kill us all!
Hear from the people that create your software, design your render engines, and artists that are changing the face of modern motion graphics.
You get that render done. Yeah, you better frame what?
Mograph tutorials and online classes will teach you about Cinema 4D, After Effects, as well as other popular software and render engines.
Throw in the HDR Studio, take the render settings, pick the HDR, put in a reflection, and gorgeous.
Branch into new software. Learn time-saving tips, techniques, workflows, and lessons that'll keep you up to date in the world of motion design.
Oh, brother, those are some of my favorite elves.
I love projects that scare me. When our art director comes to us and asks for something that I had never done before, man, it gets me pumped.
Join the conversation in our live sessions. Check out our plugins, or join the hundreds of daily active users in our Slack channel for technical help, advice, contests, or just to joke around.
Real nice banana.
Yeah, that's so funny. All right. I'm going to live forever.
Subscribe today and get the latest updates on our YouTube and other social media channels.
Take all your dreams and just do it!
We don't care how you get here, folks. Just get here.
Subscribe to Mograph.com.